Iran has once again sent a strong signal by announcing that if war breaks out this time, a new missile could cause serious devastation. And to understand what that really means, it is important to separate political messaging from technical reality while still appreciating why this announcement is being taken seriously across the region and beyond. Over the past decade, Iran's missile program has evolved from relatively basic short-range systems into a layered and increasingly sophisticated force that includes short, medium, and potentially intermediate-range ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and a growing family of precision-guided strike weapons. When Iranian officials talk about a new missile, they are usually referring not just to a single rocket but to a combination of improved propulsion, guidance, survivability, and warhead effectiveness that together change the battlefield equation. At the core of this announcement is the idea of deterrence through credible capability. Iran's missile designers have focused heavily on solid fuel propulsion in recent years, which offers several advantages over older liquid fuel designs. Solid fuel missiles can be stored for long periods, launched on short notice, and are less vulnerable during preparation. This means that in a crisis scenario, launch units can disperse, hide, and fire quickly, reducing the chance of being destroyed before they can be used. For viewers without a technical background, the difference is similar to keeping a fully charged power tool ready to go versus one that needs to be assembled and fueled before use. Speed and readiness matter enormously in modern warfare. Another major feature often highlighted in these new missiles is improved accuracy. Early ballistic missiles relied on simple, inertial guidance, which could result in errors measured in hundreds of meters. Iran has invested heavily in satellite navigation assistance, terrain matching, and terminal guidance systems that correct the missile's course as it approaches the target. This does not necessarily mean pinpoint accuracy like a laser-guided bomb, but it does mean that critical infrastructure such as airbases, command centers, radar installations, and fuel depots are far more vulnerable than before. Higher accuracy also allows for smaller warheads to achieve the same military effect, which in turn enables longer range or greater maneuverability. Performance aspects are another area where the new missile narrative gains weight. Range is an obvious factor, but it is not the only one. A missile that can reach 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers is impressive, but equally important is how it flies. Some newer Iranian missiles are reported to use quasi-ballistic trajectories, flying lower and flatter than traditional ballistic missiles. This reduces warning time and makes interception more difficult. Others are designed to maneuver during flight, especially in the terminal phase, which is the final approach to the target. This kind of maneuvering is a direct response to advanced missile defense systems, which rely on predicting where a missile will be and placing an interceptor in its path. From a defensive perspective, systems like Iron Dome, David's Sling, Arrow, Patriot, and THAAD are designed to counter different types of threats. Iron Dome is optimized for short-range rockets, while THAAD focuses on high-altitude ballistic threats. A missile that combines speed, maneuverability, and a lower flight path can exploit gaps between these defensive layers. This does not mean defenses are useless, but it does mean that no system offers perfect protection, especially when facing salvo attacks where multiple missiles are launched at once. Iran has consistently emphasized quantity alongside quality, aiming to overwhelm defenses rather than defeat them one missile at a time. Design elements of the new missile also play a role in its perceived destructive potential. Mobile launchers, often disguised as civilian trucks or hidden in hardened underground facilities, make it difficult for adversaries to locate and destroy missile units preemptively. Iran has showcased extensive underground missile bases carved into mountains, complete with rail systems and blast doors. These facilities are designed to survive initial strikes and continue launching missiles over time. For a lay audience, this is similar to having a secure warehouse network that keeps supplying products even if some delivery routes are disrupted. The warhead itself is another critical component. While Iran does not possess nuclear weapons according to publicly available evidence, conventional warheads can still be devastating when combined with precision. High explosive fragmentation warheads are effective against soft targets and personnel, while penetrating warheads are designed to damage hardened structures like bunkers and reinforced buildings. There is also discussion among analysts about submunition or cluster-type payloads, which can cover a wider area, though these are controversial and heavily scrutinized under international law. Even without exotic payloads, a precisely delivered conventional warhead can disable key military and economic assets. One of the unique selling points Iran often emphasizes is indigenous development. Sanctions and international pressure have forced Iranian engineers to rely on domestic production and creative problem-solving. This has led to a missile industry that is relatively self-sufficient and adaptable. Components are designed to be manufactured locally, repaired quickly, and modified as new requirements emerge. This adaptability means that even if one design is countered, incremental upgrades can be introduced without starting from scratch. For military planners on the other side, this creates uncertainty, which is a powerful element of deterrence. Another aspect worth discussing is the integration of missiles into a broader strategy rather than viewing them as standalone weapons. Iran's doctrine appears to focus on asymmetric warfare, using missiles to offset disadvantages in air power and naval strength. In a conflict scenario, missiles could be used to target airfields to prevent enemy aircraft from operating freely, ports to disrupt logistics, and command centers to degrade coordination. This would likely be combined with drone attacks, cyber operations, and proxy forces to stretch defenses and complicate responses. The missile is therefore not just a weapon but part of a system of systems designed to impose costs and shape the course of a conflict. For the general public, the term devastation can sound vague and sensational, so it is important to contextualize it. Devastation does not necessarily mean total destruction of cities, but it can mean significant disruption to military operations, infrastructure damage, and psychological impact. Modern conflicts show that even limited but precise strikes can have outsized effects on morale, markets, and political decision-making. A successful missile strike on a critical node can force an adversary to divert resources, change tactics, or reconsider escalation. Critics of Iran's claims point out that missile tests and parade displays do not always translate into reliable battlefield performance. Issues such as quality control, guidance, reliability under electronic warfare conditions, and real-world accuracy remain difficult to verify without combat data. Missile defenses are also continuously improving, with better sensors, faster interceptors, and improved integration between allied systems. The reality likely lies somewhere between official Iranian optimism and external skepticism. Another layer to consider is the geopolitical signaling behind such announcements. By highlighting a new missile ahead of or during heightened tensions, Iran aims to influence calculations in Washington, Tel Aviv, and regional capitals. The message is that any conflict would come at a cost and that escalation would not be one-sided. This kind of signaling is as much about preventing war as it is about preparing for it. History shows that missile programs often serve political purposes alongside military ones. In terms of regional balance, a new missile with improved range and accuracy could affect not just Israel but also U.S. bases and allied infrastructure across the Middle East. This broadens the potential impact of any conflict and raises the stakes for all involved. It also explains why missile defense cooperation has become a priority among U.S. allies in the region, with shared radar data and integrated command systems. From a technological standpoint, the direction of Iran's missile development mirrors global trends. Emphasis on precision, survivability, mobility, and penetration of defenses is not unique to Iran but is seen in programs from major powers as well. What makes Iran's case distinctive is the context of sanctions, limited access to foreign technology, and the constant pressure of potential military confrontation. Achieving steady progress under these conditions is itself notable. For viewers trying to assess whether this new missile would truly cause devastation if war breaks out, the most honest answer is that its impact would depend on how it is used, in what numbers, and against what defenses. A single missile, no matter how advanced, is unlikely to change everything. A coordinated campaign involving dozens or hundreds of missiles, integrated with other forms of attack, could, however, significantly challenge even advanced militaries. It is also worth noting that missile warfare is not just about physical damage. The threat alone can force changes in behavior. Air defenses must remain on high alert, populations may need to take shelter, and economic activity can be disrupted by uncertainty. These indirect effects can accumulate over time, creating pressure that goes beyond the immediate blast radius of any warhead. As technology continues to evolve, the line between traditional ballistic missiles and newer systems like hypersonic glide vehicles becomes increasingly blurred. Iran has hinted at hypersonic capabilities, though details remain scarce and debated among experts. If elements of hypersonic technology are incorporated into future missiles, even partially, this would further complicate interception and shorten response times, amplifying the sense of threat conveyed by current announcements. Ultimately, Iran's declaration about a new missile causing devastation should be understood as a combination of real technical progress, strategic messaging, and psychological deterrence. The missile itself represents years of incremental improvements in propulsion, guidance, and survivability. Its performance would challenge defenses but not render them obsolete. Its design reflects a focus on readiness, mobility, and resilience. Its unique selling point lies in how it fits into a broader asymmetric strategy aimed at offsetting conventional disadvantages and shaping adversary decisions, and how effectively it would do so in an actual war would only be revealed under the harsh conditions of real conflict rather than in announcements or test footage.